Game resumed.
All right, test. Hello. Okay, good. That's working. All right. Sincere apologies here, guys. We had some very disappointing issues with our broadcasting software, but we're back. We've got it back up and running, and spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, it's going to be TCM's red Terran player, YoDa.
Yep, right as the blue Zerg. It's true. Dead Pixel.
Yeah, Dead Pixels. A very interesting team that popped up. I think are True and Patient still the only players on it at the moment?
On what team?
Dead Pixels.
Patience is on Dead Pixels?
Yeah, it was announced at DreamHack Winter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess so.
I'm really hoping okay, so True, that's what throws out there before we get too far into the game. With True, Patience, they might not be the biggest, baddest names you can think of, but damn if they aren't absolutely talented players. I would love to see someone like Journey or maybe Fantasy or like these other guys who don't have a team or have like a team waiting to be announced also get picked up. Because it seems like Dead Pixels is building up like slowly but surely a really cool roster.
Yeah, there are a lot of people. Like Fantasy said he was going to have a team. I think Sulky said he was going to have a team. Someone else said they was going to have a team. And I'm like still waiting.
Yeah, there's like a lot of teams like en route, so to speak. But
oh, is that like a subtle like brag that you know someone's going to route?
No, I just meant en route.
I know, but
Sorry.
like the pun would have been fantastic if you knew something that we didn't.
Okay, but yeah, how'd you just go to route, guys? If you didn't.
The root house.
Okay, but let's get into this series, shall we? It's the fight before Christmas. This is the finals of the winners bracket, which means one of these two players is about to qualify. It'll be one of the 4 players in the Korean group stage. As with all our tournaments, guys, we're gonna have one group stage lead into a round of 8, which from there on we get some cool games from. But as far as this one in particular is concerned, I mean, True is, we see him in the Elima League all the time. This guy, ZVP, ZVZ, like, he is a pretty big badass, but YoDa cannot be faltered today. Like, he's just kicking ass and taking names.
He's doing pretty well. I mean, I don't like 2-0 stomps all over the board, but it's okay.
Well, interestingly enough, our audience appears to have a pretty split decision about this. We have very even bets going into this, about 2,200 partoofs placed on both players. So definitely some mixed feelings from everybody about who's going to be the better player. But YoDa coming across the map with that Reaper. We get some nice scouting here towards the main.
Did we cast YoDa versus Zerg? Yeah, Armani.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just checking. Yeah. So that was pretty solid. I mean, that the King Seedog game was just kind of weird, and it's YoDa fortunate enough to come out better, I guess, kind of in regards to being able to lift your buildings as a Terran player. Not gonna lie, taking a 3rd and 4th base like that was total hack swears, but I guess it was a 4th and a 5th, whatever. But it's again Overgrowth, and YoDa last time he did open up with a Banshee opener. I gotta expect the same thing. Of course, as I say that, I noticed there's no second gas quite yet, so maybe not.
Hellions for sure, though. I mean, there's whether you're playing mech, whether you're playing bio, Hellions are such a just integral part of the early game. So we're definitely going to see those come out at least. Starport's on the way. I mean, if it is going to be Banshees, it's going to be not big dedication. As you point out, no second gas makes it pretty hard to squeeze out that cloak, but the barracks is transferring over, so.
Yes, 4 Marines. You could be going for the Marine drop with Hellions.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, actually. No tech lab comes down, and that makes a little more sense. We've also been seeing those pushes, but again, with the second gas being later, I kind of feel like the armory's not necessarily in the cards here, but it's always a potential.
Yeah, that's true. Might just be a medevac into a Viking. Not sure. We'll see in a sec here. Now, YoDa's not going to be able, or True is not going to be able to scout this. Again, YoDa has these 2 patrolling. I mean, the buildings are very far back into his base. It's going to be very hard to scout. But True, going for a 2-base lair. Going to go for early Muta. Not playing it too greedy either. He does include a Baneling Nest in this, so he'll be able to get at least something. Although not a lot. I don't think he has any lings right now. No lings right now.
4 in the way. I'm going to make him to Balance as quick as possible. 3 Queens, though, should be able to hold this off for now. I mean, early aggression is really just that small amounts of aggression. 2 Hellions, typically, there are some players who will dive them into the mineral lines, trade out for a couple of drones. I personally love seeing that happen, but not today, not from YoDa.
Yeah. And this, if he does make them into, or if he sees this coming at all with his Elnaga, with just a single Ling, he'll probably have enough time to make Banelings, and it is going to be that armory, by the way.
And
so,
Ooh.
yeah, this is weird. I gotta figure he's gonna go into mech after this. So much of a dedication to just like not stim, basically.
Right, it's so weirdly delayed the way it's gone down, so it kind of has to be. You force your hand at a point, like, if you're coming around 9 minutes and there's no stim started, you're probably not going to have a chance to start stim. So once you start this aggression, it's going to trigger something, and there's a lot of Lings running by here. Overlord gets killed, but the Lings run up this ramp. Depots are not raised. You could still raise them. You could still raise them. A little bit late in that response, so YoDa going to suffer some damage here. The Banshee will eventually clean this up, I suppose, is one good way to look at it, but it draws the entire army back home.
Yeah, here's the thing about going home is that he just doesn't have the, like, you can't focus on two places at once. And you don't know if they have Banelings. You need to focus on that if they do have Banelings, so he has to go home and at least try and defend. And why did he even try? I don't understand that one. But the Lings on top of the supply depots, True's counterattack is working wonders. He's gonna have enough time to go and get out a couple of YoDas, which will obviously a hard counter
Look at
Helly and
that supply
Banshee.
block. Look at that supply block, though. Like, this is more than just taking down that wall. This is like, YoDa can't make units. That's it. The last round of units he's making right now, the last things he'll make for a while. It's gonna take 4 supply depots and maybe even drop supply to make up for this. He has he's just got no depots anywhere. He's okay, he's not gonna lose the tech lab, but the lane needs to be cleaned up.
I thought since he pulled back, he just was gonna focus entirely on defending, but he did find it in his ability to go ahead and drop right here. So a couple of drones went down, so that queen went down. Not quite. Oh, okay. Well, the Mutalisk's gonna help out as well. Who could transfuse?
I'd say those 10 drones dying were actually a pretty freaking big deal. I say this primarily based on the fact that he took so much damage at home. He got supply blocked for so long. I mean, 10 drones is a lot. Hellbat's gonna follow this up. Now the Beatles will eventually clean this up, but do they have the damage to stop this many Hellions, this many Hellbats?
Yeah. True, not waiting for one of those into Banelings, so this will take a really long time to clear up.
No detection. There's no detection for this Banshee.
Overseer's on the way, but
I like the transform in the Hellion. It's a little bit too late though, so he's trying to outrun the Banshee, or say the Beatles to get some damage done. But, oh man, he softens up those drones really nicely. The Banshee's gonna come in here and try and execute what left they can. Queen goes down, but the Beatles will eventually clean this up.
Overseer, come on!
Overseer, please, where are you? There we go.
You have like a billion eyes. Let's get over here.
I don't know, a billion, more like 5 or 7, but still, for YoDa's sake, the fact they got any kills behind this was fantastic. The fact they got 12 puts him in a better spot, but at some point, while we weren't looking, Lings went in or something, like 9 more SCVs died.
22 workers, 21 workers killed. It's all about, like, you know, barely symmetrical games today.
Barely symmetrical, I guess is one way we could look at it. I think, though, moving through this situation, yeah, Muta's trying to get some counterattack. It's good that he's got that Thor down, a couple of the Vikings. One Thor actually doesn't even deal with Mutas so well, we've seen in the past, but those 2 Vikings pretty critical.
Well, this is kind of that was an odd game so far, but it does kind of equalize. It's hard to say equalize. You really don't know what everyone's missing out of. Of course, YoDa, you know, he is going to go into mech.
Yeah, but what's the Carapace upgrade? Like, this isn't Muta versus Muta. It's not bad, I suppose, but it's like, what? Who does this?
I got you. I got you. Yeah, it's actually fallen out of favor completely. But, I mean, it used to be a time where, like, even versus bio, you would say, if I wanted to use my Mutas in upfront fight, maybe I should get +1 Carapace. And that was kind of a movement that, like, lasted a couple of months, and then it died down. Against mech, you would say, I'm definitely going to use these on an upfront fight. That's a hard word to say. Stop saying that. And I should get... Yeah, and I should get Carapace as well, and then it also died off. So like it's surprising to see it just at all, but it's not like surprising to see it like in the grand scheme of StarCraft 2 metas. And I guess the reason it's died off so much is that it's no longer about like, I guess in Wings Liberty you would just stay on Mutas for a very long time, or you could rather, but in Heart of the Swarm it's a lot more about changing between that and the Invitation Pit.
So I think one of the things I'm really worried about here is it's a lot easier, as we've seen, for True to replace his workers. We have fairly even workers killed, but the worker count is anything but close. Third CC still not done, and True's mining off of a third base while he takes a fourth. Like, the longer this waits out, the worse it gets for YoDa, I feel. I mean, we got Mech coming out with there's not even tank production, and there's swarm hosts on the way. Like, there's a small window of opportunity. We typically see around 150 supply where Terran player can push with Hellbats and Thors and no tanks and have moderate success versus swarm hosts. But I don't think this is going to be that situation, because by the time YoDa hits 150 supply, True's going to pretty much be maxed out.
Yeah. Yeah. Really starting to see who came out on top in that early game. Cross harassment, whatever you want to call it. YoDa still unable to get a third. There's about to just finish up, but he has to clear up the creep before he can actually get it. The mutas will always be a constant threat. He just can't get rid of the Thors, like, you know, as if they don't matter. They will matter. As soon as True sees there's no Thors, he goes into mutas. As soon as there's no siege tanks, he goes into swarm hosts. That's what's so deadly about this type of, you know, counter to the mech.
This is kind of crazy too. It's been a while since we've seen swarm hosts. I mean, just generally speaking across most matchups. A lot of players have started figuring these out in recent days, and these just haven't been as potent, but I'm loving the SCV pulls. The repairs are kind of like lamer versions of medevacs, I suppose, so low amounts of Locust won't tear through these Thors, but they will still deal good damage to the Hellbats.
Those +1 Carapace, it does look odd, but I mean, you do end up in a situation where like, you try and take down as many Hellbats as possible, as many Vikings as possible, then suddenly you just decide to go for it. You go in with the Muse, you magic box, and you try and take out the Thors. That +1 Carapace is going to let them survive a lot longer with any good magic boxing.
All these Thors getting trucked on. The SCVs are trying to repair the Hellbats. Scumbag SCVs, they need to be keeping those Thors alive.
YoDa's taking down all the reinforcements.
Yeah, nice catcher in the middle of the map. It's a tank, it's a Hellbat. It's not enough is what it is. True will take the first game in this best of 3 for the qualifying series.